What is going on, you guys? This is Tech HD coming at you with a brand new video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the RodeCaster DUO. This is basically the little brother of the RodeCaster Pro 2, just in a smaller form factor, less XLR microphones, and I am excited for this because I wanted a small form factor specifically in my streaming setup. So I'm going to be testing it out when it comes to a streaming scenario, and of course you guys are going to be hearing some audio tests, of course, coming from the RodeCaster DUO. So let's dive in, let's take a look at it, let's talk about the specs, the features, what it all comes with, talk about the pros and the cons, and I'll give you guys my overall thoughts. Now diving into what we get inside the box, we got a USB-C to C cable, the power brick with the USB-C on the other end, and the RodeCaster DUO itself. Taking a look at the I/O, there is the power button along with the power port, the micro SD card slot, an Ethernet port underneath. There is also a dual USB-C port to use for a 2PC setup, for example. You also got two headphone outputs, a left and right quarter-inch balanced line outputs, and lastly 2 XLR inputs. On the front, you also got a TRS port to connect a headset microphone if you want to, or just monitor the audio. Lastly, you have the faders, 6 smart pads with bank switching buttons underneath, the 5.5-inch touchscreen, 4 channel buttons for the faders, the main dial, and 2 headphone dials for headphones 1 and 2. Alright, you guys, so you're now hearing the audio coming directly from the RodeCaster DUO. I have the pod mic USB hooked up directly to the RodeCaster DUO through the XLR. I am monitoring the audio with the NTH100 headphones that is hooked up to the output 1 in the back, and then I have everything being saved into the SanDisk Extreme Pro SSD. I love the fact that I have the ability of saving it directly to the SSD hard drive and not needing to use a micro SD card, but of course you have that flexibility as well if you want to use that. But yeah, this is the audio. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. This is the raw audio that you guys are hearing right now. I don't have any of the processing enabled so that you guys could just hear how everything sounds like. I have the level set to 60 dB, and then of course I have the preset of the pod mic. So let me know what you guys think, and then of course we have that flexibility of using some effects. We have some sound effects as well, so we could do chimes, for example, the rim shot. You could do a sensor if you want to, and then of course you got some effects with the voice.
So like, for example, voice disguise,
Megaphone,
wide robot,
Pitch up.
monster, small robot.
and then of course you could add your own as well. But yeah, those are the presets that it comes with, so a lot of flexibility when it comes to that. And then of course you got 3 other main faders as well as 3 other virtual faders, which is really cool. And so you have a lot of flexibility when it comes to that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below as far as the audio goes. And then of course now you guys are going to be hearing the processing. So now if I were to enable the processing, you guys can now hear how the audio sounds like. So we got the high pass filter enabled, got the de-esser, we also got a noise gate, we got the compressor, and then we got the all exciter and the big bottom as well enabled. And then if I were to go to my outputs and then processing, I could enable the master compeller as well. And then all of these are already set to my voice. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below as far as that goes. If I need to change minor adjustments in the features and stuff like that. If there's too much of a high pass filter, if there's too much of a noise gate or compressor, stuff like that, feedback. I would love your guys' feedback on how the audio sounds like. And I really love the RodeCaster DUO small form factor. I think this is going to be a really good addition to a lot of streamers setup. And so I want to show you guys my streaming setup with the RodeCaster DUO when I have my streaming PC, my gaming PC, consoles, as well as wireless gaming headsets, how I have everything hooked up, set up, routed, and all that. And then I'll give you guys my overall thoughts on how it is when it comes to a live streaming setup. Alright, you guys, so now I'm going to walk you through on how I have the RodeCaster DUO set up for a live stream on Twitch and Kick when I'm gaming. So first things first, I'm going to walk you through on how I have everything plugged in. Right now, you guys are hearing the audio coming directly from the pod mic USB. Let me know what you guys think about that audio. And the way that I have this set up is first on the back, plus I have a secondary camera so you guys can see a better look of how I have everything set up. So the first input is going to be the pod mic USB. On the back, I have the headphones like the Rode NTH100s that is hooked up to the second input. Then I have USB 1 and USB-C 2. The USB 1 is connected to my streaming PC, whereas the second USB is hooked up to my gaming PC. And then of course the power on the back. On the front here, I have my game DAC for my SteelSeries Wireless Nova Pro headset, and that is being hooked up to the TRS on the front. And then that I have the volume controls for one to change the volume of the game DAC so that I can monitor everything as far as the music, so I can hear the gameplay of the secondary PC, so that I can hear the Discord, all of that. when I'm doing anything as far as console gaming and stuff like that. And then the second volume is to monitor and change the volume for the NTH 100s when I am editing, doing any video editing or audio editing. And just to let you guys know that the audio that you guys are listening is coming directly to Adobe Audition, and we are using the RodeCaster DUO right now. Now, as far as the faders go, I have the fader 1 set to the microphone. So if I were to mute myself, and now I unmuted myself, so I have the volume set to the fader 1 for my microphone. Fader 2 is set to USB 1. That's for the streaming PC. The way that I have this set up is for whenever I have background music, like from Spotify, as well as OBS alerts, so I can monitor that. So if I were to unmute it, you guys should be able to hear some music. I'm gonna lower that and I'm gonna mute that back. The third fader is set to the USB 2, which is the gaming PC. So whenever I'm streaming on my gaming PC, I can set the volume independently on that, and I don't have to worry about that. And then the last fader is set to the USB chat 1. And so that is for the Discord. So then I could change the volume if it's too loud for me, if it's too loud on stream, stuff like that. I can mute my friends, stuff like that. And then the virtual, I just have it set to the sound. So that is basically the overall setup that I have for the RodeCaster DUO when I'm streaming on both Twitch and Kick. And just to also walk you through, if we go into the settings and we have the output, and if we go to rerouting, as far as for the headphones go, everything is rerouted. The only thing I mute is myself, because I don't like really hearing and monitoring myself sometimes on both headphone 1 and headphone 2. Now, if we go to the rerouting for USB 1, everything is set. There's no mix minus or anything like that. Everything is just custom, but everything is basically enabled. If we go to the USB chat 1, the only thing that is enabled is my microphone. I have the ability, if I want my friends to be able to hear the music, stuff like that, I could enable that. Or if I want them to hear themselves, to monitor themselves, I could do that as well. But for the most part, I keep it simple. I just have them hear me, and that's about it. And then on USB 2, same thing. The only thing that's routing back is my microphone. So if I wanna, the good thing is that now both of my PCs are hooked up to it. I could just use one microphone for both gaming. So now the gaming, I can have it be, as far as the gaming audio, game chat, be so that they could hear the crispy quality of a microphone. I don't have to use a headset microphone or anything like that, which is really nice. And then same thing goes on my streaming PC when I'm streaming, which is really nice. And so that is basically the setup that I have as far as that goes. The faders, everything is all physical and just one virtual. As far as headphones go, I have it set to the NTH 100 for the second output. And then the first one I have it set to low sensitivity for my game deck when I'm gaming on console. And just to walk you through on how the processing goes with the pod mic USB, I have it set to about 60 dB. As far as the level goes, I have it on the pod mic. And then I have my high pass filter enabled. I have my de-esser enabled. I have my noise gate enabled, my compressor. I haven't messed with the equalizer so much, and I got my oral exciter and my big bottom enabled. And then I have the panning disabled as far as that goes. But that is the processing. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below on how the audio quality sounds like with all the processing goes, the volume, the level set, and my voice overall. And then everything else for the most part has been disabled as far as processing goes. I might go more in depth later on, but for now, that's basically how I have it set when I'm streaming on Twitch and Kick. And of course, we have the sound pads here, so I could have the music bed, the applause, stuff like that. I could also do,
For example, like the voice disguise.
I could do the megaphone.
I can also do pitch up.
I also got the monster.
And I also got the small robot.
And so the cool thing is that since now both of my PCs are set up that way, when I'm gaming on my gaming PC, the game chat could hear any of those effects. And then same thing goes when I have it on the streaming PC, my stream could hear any of those effects as well. But that is basically the setup that I have when it comes to streaming. It's a little bit complex, but I use it for both streaming and also editing. That's why I have the secondary headphones like the Rode NTH 100s, so I can monitor, so that I can edit the audio, so I can edit video, stuff like that. And then that gives me the ability to get rid of my Focusrite Scarlett Solo, and then I can have the other microphone hooked up to the second input for the shotgun microphone back there. So that gives me a lot of flexibility where I could just use one thing to control everything. And then same thing goes with the game deck that is being hooked up to the first one. It gives me the flexibility of hearing the music, my chat, the gameplay, all of that. So it gives me a lot of flexibility, a little bit of a workaround as far as it goes, but it's definitely been helping a lot. So there are 2 cons that I would like Rode to implement in the RodeCaster DUO for streamers like on Kick and Twitch. One of them being the USB Chat 1. I would like for them to add a USB Chat 2 in either a virtual fader or a physical fader. And the reason for that is because USB Chat 1 I have for Discord, so I could change the volume as far as that goes. The USB 1 I have it set for music, so I can independently change the volume of the music if it's too loud, if it's too quiet, stuff like that. I would like for the USB Chat 2 to be either one of those, or to be like for OBS, so that I can monitor any of the alerts, like when I get a follower, when I get a sub, stuff like that. Because right now the way that I have it set up is I have it set to the regular USB, but that is also being controlled for the music. So if I want the music to be low, the OBS alerts is going to be low as well, and sometimes I don't even hear it whenever I get a new follower or a new sub on Twitch or Kick. So that is my major concern. I want to independently control the volumes on each of those, and so the reason why it's USB Chat 1 is because the computer detects it as an individual speaker basically, and so as an individual input and output. And so having USB Chat 2 gives me another ability, like another virtual input and output, and I can have my OBS in the monitoring tab set to USB Chat 2. And then like how I have Discord being USB Chat 1, and then I could keep the USB for just music. So now I could independently change the volume. I could keep the Discord, the way that it is. I could keep the OBS high, and then I can manually change the volume on the music when I want it to be low and I want it to be high. So that is my major thing. I want them to implement another USB Chat 2, or however way they want to do it, but that is one of the major cons. So I overall love the RodeCaster DUO for what it has to offer, of course, for podcasting and recording, but for me specifically, I was really interested when it came to streaming, and so I really wanted to implement it in my streaming setup and see what I could really do. And I especially love the small form factor, because that was a major thing when I was looking at the RodeCaster Pro 2, is how huge it is and how it would be in my setup, and it'll just take up a lot of space and all that. The RodeCaster DUO is perfect for that. Not only that, but it comes with everything that the RodeCaster Pro 2 does, just in a smaller form factor. And for me personally, I don't need 4 XLR microphones. I'm good with 2. So that was the major thing. I think that the RodeCaster Pro 2 was an overkill for most streamers and content creators if you're not doing podcasting or recording with 4 people and all that. And so this having 2 XLRs and 2 monitoring headphones and all that is the perfect option for streamers. It has everything that the RodeCaster Pro 2 has, except a couple minor differences, like for example, the record button isn't an actual physical button, it is built into the touchscreen itself, but it has everything like the Revolution preamps and has the APHEX processing. And so if you are used to the RodeCaster Pro 2, then you're definitely going to be used to the RodeCaster DUO. Now, one of the major cons I have when it comes to specifically streaming is the routing option when it comes to submixes. Now, of course, I love the fact that they implemented submixes, but you have to go into the settings, and it's pretty buried into the settings. So you have to go to settings, output, routing, you gotta go to your headphones, and then you have the ability to adjust your submixes. I would love the fact that maybe for a setting for specifically streamers, you could enable it for streamers, and then what you could do is you could touch one of the faders and then use the dial to adjust your own volume setting, and then not needing to touch the physical fader. That makes it a lot easier and a lot quicker for me. Personally, I think that would be much better of an option when it comes to streaming, instead of having to go buried into the settings and adjust it. And then I like the home menu overall instead of going into the settings and needing to go into the routing menu. I would love it to be more built into the home menu. So very similar to how it is when it comes to virtual faders, you could just click on it and use the dial to go up and down to adjust that. I would love for that to be implemented when it comes to the physical faders. So you could adjust the physical faders to how you're monitoring it, and then when you click on one of them, then you could adjust the dial on how it's going to sound like in the stream, whether you want it to be louder or you want it to be lower. That makes it so much easier to adjust some minor little tweaks when the music is too loud for you or it's too loud for the stream, or if your teammates are too loud on stream or it's too low for you. It just makes it a lot easier to adjust it and not need to go into the settings. But there you guys have it. That is my thoughts on the RodeCaster DUO and how I had it specifically set for streaming and also content creating. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you guys have any suggestions or any feedback for me when using the RodeCaster DUO for streaming, please let me know. I would love you guys' feedback because I really want to implement this in my streaming setup. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so that you guys can be notified whenever I upload a new video. Follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok. As always, TechHD. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace!